Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Coach Mike Bargen Show here on BCTV Channel 20. I'm Michael Bauer, and joined with me is Coach Mike Bargen of the Butler men's basketball team. Coach, nice to have you with us again.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And Coach, y'all's season coming to an end. Y'all ended with the record of 17-14. Coach, starting off, before we go talk about y'all's recent games against Seward and Independence, but let's talk about y'all's season as a whole. What are your thoughts on this season?
Well, I thought that certain parts of the season we did a phenomenal job. We had some extenuating circumstances with some injuries that made it difficult to keep some consistency. I've never seen a year where guys that we thought were going to come in and play large roles were in and out of the lineup or out altogether. And we had 4 different bouts of sickness where guys were gone for a week at a time. So we felt like we were making some strides. We felt like we were just a very short improvement away from having a very, very good year. And from where we finished and the way the conference was, it was nip and tuck down the stretch. And, we were in a lot of those bowl games that we lost. And so I think that, we're obviously not satisfied or happy with the way things kind of turned out and not making it over to Wichita and not finishing a little bit higher in the conference race. But I think there were some really good things that we need to continue to keep in perspective.
The Jayhawk West was definitely a dogfight this season. I believe only one team finished with a losing record overall in the Jayhawk West. Coach, is this probably the toughest you've ever seen the Jayhawk West Conference?
I'd say it was the most even. I think that you had Seward, who was head and shoulders above everybody else. I think they ended up winning it by 2 games and really kind of put it on cruise control there in the last 4 to 6 games after they were the clear-cut favorite. I think that when you go from 2 to 9, I would say those 8 teams were as close as you could possibly be. And so, I think that maybe there wasn't the high end where you're chasing 2 or 3 teams at the top, but I think that, as far as comparing the group, with it being so even, it made it a very difficult league to play in, night out.
And as we all saw on the TV screen, Seward County just finished first in the conference. They lost in the Region 6 tournament to a really good Coffeyville team. Seward County finishing with a 12-4 record in the Jayhawk West and finishing 27-7 overall. Butler Grizzlies finishing 7-9 in the Jayhawk West, but 17-14 overall. And as we said, there's actually 2 teams that finished with an overall losing record. Pratt Community College finishing 13-17, and Colby finishing 15-16 overall. Colby, it must be said though, did pull off an upset over Seward and came out strong and late in the season too, coming against with the wins against Butler and Seward and also Cloud County. But Coach, getting back to the season though, at the beginning of the season, y'all had some injury problems. You had Alex Santiago, who was on crutches and basically done for the rest of the season. Did that really also not help y'all as well either?
We were planning on Alex being a major factor on this year's team, whether that was starting or playing a lot of minutes. Losing him and losing some depth at the point guard position really spread us out. Later in the season, we ended up moving Josh Gibbs over to the point to give us a little bit more depth and some ball handling. And that takes away from what Josh can do offensively because the ball's in his hands so much. He doesn't get a chance to move off the ball and let some other guys create shots for him. And so, that was a pretty key injury right there. We lost some out-of-staters early on and only played with 5 for the year. And, then losing Josh early in the season to the knee injury, it was probably good and bad for us. It forced some other guys to play some roles and to go through some struggles, but we really did struggle without him. And so we were just starting to learn kind of our makeup at the start of the second semester and what roles were going to be and how we were going to play guys. And never really felt like we got into a consistent starting lineup, a consistent rotation. We kind of continued to try new guys in different roles and see how they did. And so if I would have my choice, we would prefer that we would have a pretty set lineup. Guys can know when to expect to come in and out of the game. They know where their opportunities lie, and we really felt like we never got into that comfortable groove that we have in the past.
And you all did have a decent amount of freshmen also starting too. You had Lane Lindhorst, and you also had Zach Bargen as well. How big are some of those players going to be for coming into next season?
Well, in junior college, sophomores are invaluable. I think that was probably one of the things that did help us is even though we only have 4 guys who had played for us the year before, having 8 sophomores who are a little bit older, a little bit more mature, hopefully have a little bit more basketball under their belt. It's a great advantage to have. Now you take the flip of it. We have 5 freshmen. Trying to get those 5 freshmen to step into sophomore roles will be the key to next season. Freshmen are really freshmen, no matter how talented they are. They haven't been through the grind. They don't understand what the conference race is like. They don't understand what the region tournament's like yet. It's all new to them. And so we need those guys to step forward and have great springs and come back hungry after very good summers and make sure that they establish that here's the way we do things around here, and that we need to get back to the top of the conference race and hopefully push for another region championship.
Game against Seward at home. What would first of all, what were your opening thoughts on that one?
Their zone is very, very aggressive, and if you don't shoot the ball very well, you're going to have a tough time against them. And that's where we've had a lot of success in the past is we've had guys step up and knock down shots. Mark Morgan was actually at the game, but he was kind of the Seward Saint killer in his 2 years here. I think he averaged 3 or 4 three-point makes against him for his career. But you have to step up and you have to stretch the zone by being able to make shots, and then that allows you to throw the ball inside. And so I thought that early on we did a decent job, or midway through we did a decent job, and then we were kind of just holding the water back, and the dam finally broke. And I really felt like they were the aggressor and everything. We didn't get aggressive until the second half, and when we started to be aggressive and started to attack and get to the rim after spreading them out, then I felt like we got some good things to go. And we got right back in the game. I think we got a little bit greedy and went for kind of the haymaker, or tried to keep eating up points by focusing on three-point shots. And we missed several in a row that led to transition baskets at the other end. And so, I think that our biggest thing there is we just needed to keep doing what was working, which was defending, being solid, making sure they only got one shot at it, and then attack them from the moment we get the ball. And I thought we did a good job of getting back in the game by doing so.
Here's a highlight reel of that Seward County game. It was on sophomore night, the last home game of the regular season. The Butler Grizzly said goodbye to a couple of sophomores, including Brandon Hilliard and Josh Gibbs and Andre Ingram, as well as Jeff Schwartfeger and Kadrian Bloomquist. And we'll talk more about the sophomores towards the end of this show. But we're about ready to take a look here at some of the highlights footage from that game. What was the momentum like going into that game? It's always it's the last home game of the regular season, and it's a lot of momentum. What was it like? Was it pretty electric?
I think when you get into sophomore nights, you got one or two extremes. You got guys that are playing at extremely high levels because they recognize that it is their last game, or you get the other extreme where guys are playing with an undue amount of pressure on them because they feel like this is my last opportunity. You see a good start here. We have a good possession of moving the ball side to side. Adam gets close and knocks it in. I think if we continue to do that, we would have had a lot of success against their zone. And again, it goes back to who's going to be the aggressor in the situation. You see another drive by Josh, but it moves the defense enough for Andre to get an offensive rebound opportunity. So, I felt like maybe we played with a little bit too much pressure on ourselves because it is our last game, and we have so many sophomores that a lot of those guys are wanting to do well simply from the perspective of it's my last opportunity here.
You can see Adam Bezdek, the passover there on this highlight segment, in this part of Andre Ingram moving around. And we have Zach Bargen there taking a three. He's been a good three-point shooter for y'all this season. You think he's going to kind of replace Brandon Hilliard as kind of y'all's go-to guy for outside the perimeter shooting next year?
Zach shot a good percentage for us all year long, and hopefully that percentage goes up because obviously guys are going to recognize what he does well. The other thing is we're out there working hard on the recruiting trail to find a point guard to make it easier on some of those guys that do shoot the ball well, like Lane and Zach. And Brandon, as a freshman, shot the ball really, really well and benefited a lot from Anthony Cousins' playmaking ability. I think that he struggled a little bit in his percentages, and even when he did get open shots, didn't make them as well as he did as a freshman. But my expectation for Zach is that he steps in and wants to be a leader, and that he's got to learn that every time he gets an open look, that thing's got to be in the basket. And hopefully we get some guys to get him some shots like that.
And also, we're coming into the second half now. This highlight reel is the Grizzlies trailed by a bunch at halftime. But what did you tell the team at halftime there when y'all were down? Because y'all came back in the second half to within, made it a single-point game. But what did you tell them at halftime?
Well, there wasn't a lot of kind words. It was mostly about being aggressive, and when you get an opportunity like the plays that you're seeing here, go attack them. Most of the first half, we just kind of stood around and passed the ball on the perimeter. And defensively, we just stood and let them pass it wherever they wanted. You see a clip right there of we went and challenged the pass, and good things happened for us. So I thought we made a good adjustment out of halftime. Again, like we talked, we just kind of settled for some shots that we didn't necessarily need early in the clock, and stopped attacking them and see if we could continue to get that lead smaller and smaller.
And Zach Bargen led the team in scoring, as well as Brandon Hilliard. Both had 13 points. Zach Bargen had 6 rebounds, 3 offensive and 3 defensive rebounds. Andre Ingram had 10 points to finish his last game.